Commander Zexthul stood before the assembled elite units of the Galactic Enforcement Division, his 4 eyes scanning the mixed crowd of species that represented the finest military minds in known space. Vorthan shock troopers with their crystalline armor gleamed under the briefing room lights. Kalari stealth operatives seemed to flicker in and out of visibility, even while standing still. The massive Bruggen heavy assault specialists cracked their knuckles with sounds like breaking stone. Each species present had earned their place through centuries of successful operations across dozens of star systems. Today, we face an unprecedented challenge, Zexthul began, his translator automatically converting his native clicks and whistles into galactic standard. For the first time in our organization's history, we have been tasked with hunting members of a species that is not yet part of the Galactic Council. A murmur rippled through the assembled soldiers. It was highly unusual for the GED to take action against non-council species. The organization typically focused on maintaining order among established galactic civilizations, not dealing with primitive worlds that had barely achieved faster-than-light travel. The species in question, Zexthul continued, activating the holographic display behind him, calls themselves humans. They inhabit a small planet in the Outer Rim territories, designation Sol 3, also known as Earth. The hologram showed a blue and green world orbiting a yellow star. To most of the assembled aliens, it looked unremarkable. Standard atmospheric composition, reasonable gravity, abundant water. Nothing that would suggest it harbored anything particularly dangerous. Intelligence reports indicate that approximately 30 of their elite military operatives have gone rogue and are conducting unauthorized operations in Council space. They have been linked to 17 separate incidents involving Council member vessels, ranging from piracy to what appears to be intelligence gathering. Captain Vex's era of the Kalari shifted slightly, her form becoming more visible as her interest peaked. Commander, with respect, why has this mission been designated as requiring elite units? Are we not dealing with primitives who have only recently achieved space travel? Zexthul's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or concern. That was my initial assessment, Captain. However, the preliminary reports from our encounters with these humans have been troubling. He gestured to the hologram, which now displayed a series of incident reports. 3 weeks ago, the Vorthan cruiser Crystal Dawn encountered what appeared to be a disabled human vessel requesting assistance. When they brought the ship aboard, they discovered it was empty. 12 hours later, their entire computer system was compromised, their weapon systems disabled, and their captain was found unconscious in his quarters with no memory of the previous day's events. The Vorthan representatives in the audience straightened, their crystalline features reflecting concern. The Crystal Dawn was one of their most advanced vessels, equipped with security systems that had never been breached. 2 weeks later, Zexthul continued, a Bruggen mining operation reported that their automated defense grid had been completely dismantled overnight. No alarms were triggered, no signs of forced entry. The components were simply gone. The only evidence was a small mark carved into the station's hull, a symbol these humans call a skull. The massive Bruggen officers exchanged glances. Their people were renowned for their engineering prowess and security consciousness. The idea that someone could dismantle their systems without detection was deeply unsettling. Most recently, a Kalari surveillance post monitoring traffic through the Nexus gateway simply vanished. The entire station, along with its crew of 40 operatives, disappeared without sending a distress signal. When our search teams arrived, they found the station's remains scattered across 3 light-years of space. The debris patterns suggested the structure had been carefully dismantled rather than destroyed. Captain Vexera's camouflage flickered with agitation. That's impossible. Kalari surveillance posts are specifically designed to be undetectable. How could primitives locate something that even Council forces struggle to find? That is precisely what we need to determine, Zexthul replied. Our xenobiological experts have compiled a preliminary profile of human physiology and psychology, but their conclusions are concerning. The hologram shifted to display a human figure, showing various biological data streams. To most aliens, humans appeared remarkably unremarkable. Standard bipedal form, single head with binocular vision, 4 limbs arranged in the typical configuration. Their technology seemed primitive by galactic standards. Their society fragmented into competing nations. Their space presence limited to their home system. Humans appear to be what our scientists classify as pursuit predators, Zexthal explained. Their homeworld is a remarkably hostile environment by galactic standards. Gravity is 30% higher than Council average. Atmospheric pressure is elevated, and the planet appears to be in a constant state of environmental upheaval. Weather patterns that would be classified as natural disasters on most Council worlds occur regularly on Earth. One of the Vorthan officers raised a crystalline hand. Commander, many species evolved on challenging worlds. What makes humans particularly concerning? Their response to stress. Zexthal replied immediately. Most sapient species evolved conflict avoidance strategies. When faced with overwhelming odds or impossible situations, the logical response is to retreat, regroup, or surrender. Humans appear to have evolved the opposite response. The hologram now showed various human conflicts throughout their history. Images of humans charging into overwhelming odds, standing against impossible circumstances, refusing to surrender even when all logic dictated they should. When cornered, humans become more dangerous, not less. When faced with superior numbers, they do not retreat, they adapt. When confronted with technology beyond their understanding, they do not surrender. They steal it, reverse engineer it, and improve upon it. Sergeant Krultak of the Bruggen Heavy Assault Division rumbled his disapproval. Primitive aggression is easily countered with superior firepower. We have faced countless warrior species before. Yes, Zexthal agreed. But not like this. Most warrior species fight for territory, resources, or dominance. Humans fight for concepts. They will die for ideas that have no physical substance. They form emotional attachments to other species, to abstract principles, to causes that offer them no personal benefit. The commander paused, letting this sink in. They have a concept they call honor that compels them to continue fighting even when victory is impossible. They will sacrifice themselves for strangers. They will endure torture rather than betray their comrades. Traditional interrogation and intimidation techniques are not only ineffective against humans, they appear to make them more resistant. Captain Vexera had gone completely solid now, her camouflage system shutting down as her concentration focused entirely on the briefing. Commander, are you suggesting that 30 primitives are a threat to the combined might of the Galactic Enforcement Division? I am suggesting, Zexthal replied carefully, that we may be dealing with something unprecedented. These are not ordinary humans. According to the limited intelligence we have gathered, the group we are hunting consists of what humans call special forces. Individuals selected and trained specifically for missions deemed impossible by conventional military standards. The hologram now displayed intercepted communications and partial dossiers on the human operatives. The information was fragmentary, but troubling. These humans had been trained from childhood for warfare, conditioned to operate in environments that would kill most species, educated in tactics that prioritized adaptation and improvisation over rigid doctrine. They call themselves Ghost Team, Zexthal continued, led by an individual identified only as Phoenix. Our psychological profile suggests this designation is not random. The Phoenix is a mythological creature from human folklore that regenerates from its own destruction. A younger Kalari operative near the back spoke up. Commander, surely our technological superiority will compensate for any psychological advantages they might possess? Zexthal's mandibles clicked again, and this time it definitely sounded like dark amusement. That brings us to our final concern. Humans are what our xenobiologists term intuitive engineers. While they lack our advanced understanding of theoretical science, they possess an uncanny ability to understand how things work simply by observing them. He gestured to a new series of images, showing human technological development. In the span of a single century, they progressed from primitive flying machines to space travel. They went from basic radio communication to quantum entanglement communication arrays. Most remarkably, they achieved this through trial and error, rather than careful theoretical development. They build things that shouldn't work according to our understanding of physics, yet function perfectly. They jury-rig solutions from incompatible components and somehow make them not only functional, but more efficient than the original systems. Every piece of technology they encounter becomes a potential weapon or tool in ways its designers never imagined. The assembled elite units were beginning to understand why this mission had been assigned to them. This wasn't a simple hunt for primitive raiders. They were being asked to track down members of a species that treated impossibility as a challenge rather than a barrier. Your mission, Zexthal announced, is to locate and capture the human operatives known as Ghost Team. They are to be taken alive if possible, terminated only if absolutely necessary. High Command believes they possess information about human military capabilities that could be crucial for future Council-human relations. He paused, scanning the faces of his elite operatives. Be aware that conventional tactics will likely prove ineffective. These humans have spent the last several months studying our methods, our technology, our weaknesses. They know we're coming. They've had time to prepare. Captain Vexara stood, her form shifting back to partial camouflage. Commander, where do we begin? The galaxy is vast, and if they're as adaptable as you suggest, they could be anywhere. Zexthal smiled, an expression that didn't translate well across species barriers. Intelligence has identified their last known position. They were seen 3 days ago in the Kepler sector, near the border of collective space. They appear to be targeting cargo vessels carrying advanced technical components. The hologram shifted to show a star chart marking several recent incidents. The pattern was clear, to trained military minds. The humans were building something. Your ships have been equipped with the latest scanning technology and enhanced security protocols. You will be divided into 3 task forces, each responsible for a different sector of space where human activity has been reported. He looked directly at Captain Vexara. Captain, your Kellari stealth units will handle reconnaissance. Your ability to remain undetected should allow you to gather intelligence without alerting the humans to your presence. Then to Sergeant Krultak. Sergeant, your Bruggen forces will provide heavy support and secure any locations we identify. If these humans are indeed as formidable as reports suggest, we'll need your people's durability and firepower. Finally, to the Vorthan contingent. Your tactical coordination and defensive systems will be crucial. These humans appear to excel at turning our own technology against us. Your crystal matrix armor should provide protection against conventional human weapons. The briefing room fell silent as the assembled operatives processed their orders. This was unlike any mission they had undertaken before. They were being asked to hunt prey that might be more dangerous than any of them realized. One final warning, Zexthal added. Do not underestimate these humans because of their primitive origins. Every species that has made that mistake has paid for it dearly. They are survivors of a world that actively tried to kill them for millions of years. They have evolved to find ways to win, when winning should be impossible. As the elite units filed out to prepare for their mission, none of them could have imagined just how accurate their commander's warnings would prove to be. In the vast darkness of space, 30 humans were waiting for them. And they had already begun to turn the hunt into something far more dangerous than anyone in the Galactic Enforcement Division could have anticipated. The Kellari stealth frigate Silent Whisper drifted through the asteroid field like a ghost among stones, its advanced camouflage systems rendering it nearly invisible even to the most sophisticated sensors. Captain Vexara studied the tactical display showing the debris field where a collective cargo hauler had been discovered 3 days earlier, completely stripped of its quantum processing units. Passive scans show no immediate threats, reported her sensor operator, Lieutenant Silnas. But the patterns here are unusual. Vexara flickered to full visibility as she leaned over the console. Explain. The cargo vessel wasn't destroyed, Captain. It was surgically dismantled. Someone removed specific components with precision tools, leaving everything else intact. Even the crew's personal effects were undisturbed. Silnas highlighted sections of the derelict ship on the display. But here's what concerns me. Our scans indicate the dismantling was performed from the inside. Inside? Vexara's camouflage rippled with surprise. How did they get inside without triggering security systems? Unknown. The ship's computer logs show no record of boarding, no evidence of hull breaches or airlock cycles. According to the system, the crew simply left. Before Vexara could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Her communications officer looked up with confusion. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission on our secured command frequency." "That's impossible. Only GED command has access to that frequency." "Yes, Captain. But the signal is definitely coming from inside the asteroid field." Vexara felt her blood temperature drop. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, showing the interior of what appeared to be a human-built shelter among the asteroids. A figure in dark, form-fitting armor sat casually in what looked like a makeshift command center. The armor bore no identifying marks, but the skull symbol painted on the shoulder plates matched the ones found at previous incident sites. The human removed their helmet, revealing a female face with short brown hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. When she spoke, her voice was calm and conversational, as if discussing the weather. "Good afternoon, Captain Vexara. I'm Lieutenant Sarah Chen, though my friends call me Phoenix. I believe you're looking for me." The bridge crew exchanged shocked glances. Not only had the human identified their ship and captain, but she was speaking perfect Kalari, complete with proper tonal inflections. "How did you," Vexara began, "get your frequencies? Learn your language? Know your name?" Phoenix interrupted with a slight smile. "Captain, your people have been hunting us for weeks. Did you really think we weren't paying attention?" She gestured to something off-screen, and the camera angle widened to show several other humans working at various stations around the improvised base. All wore the same dark armor. All moved with the fluid precision of trained killers. "I have to say, we're impressed with the Kalari stealth technology. Your ships are beautifully designed, elegant, efficient." Phoenix stood and walked closer to the camera. "We've learned so much from studying them." Vexara felt her camouflage system activate involuntarily as her stress levels spiked. "You've been studying our ships?" Oh yes. 3 of them actually. Don't worry. Your crews are safe. Unconscious, but safe. We needed to understand how your technology works before we could properly appreciate it." Unconscious. The tactical officer turned to Vexara with barely controlled panic. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple energy signatures throughout the asteroid field. Whatever they've built out there, it's big." Phoenix seemed to hear the report despite the fact that it should have been impossible. "Your tactical officer is quite perceptive. We've been busy these past few weeks. You see, when you're being hunted by the most advanced military force in the galaxy, you need to level the playing field. Number 1, she gestured again, and new camera feeds appeared on the screen showing the interior of the human base. It was far larger than any ship should be able to construct in such a short time, filled with equipment that looked like a fusion of human engineering and salvaged alien technology. "We call it adaptive integration," Phoenix explained. "You take what works from each system and combine it in ways the original designers never imagined. Kalari stealth generators powered by Vorthan crystal matrices, reinforced with Brugan structural engineering. It shouldn't work, but somehow it does." Vexara activated her ship's combat systems, but immediately received error messages. "Captain," her weapons officer reported with growing alarm, "our targeting systems aren't responding, and our stealth field just went offline." Phoenix laughed, a sound that was somehow both friendly and terrifying. "I'm afraid those won't work right now. Captain, you see, one of the things we learned from studying your ships is that Kalari technology is absolutely dependent on quantum entanglement synchronization. Disrupt the quantum field, and your systems become very expensive decorations." She held up a small device that looked like a modified Kalari scanner, attached to something that might have been human communication equipment. "Jury-rigged quantum disruptor. Built it myself using parts from your engine room. I hope you don't mind. We left payment in the form of improved efficiency algorithms. Your hyperdrive should run about 30% better now." The bridge crew stared at the screen in growing horror. The humans hadn't just disabled their ship, they had improved it while stripping out its weapons. "But don't worry. Phoenix continued cheerfully. "We're not here to hurt you. We're here to send a message." "What message?" Vexara managed to ask. Phoenix's expression grew serious. "Stop hunting us, Captain. This isn't a game you can win." Before anyone could respond, the screen flickered again. This time, it showed the bridge of a massive Bruggen assault carrier, the Stone Breaker. Sergeant Krultalk's distinctive form was visible in the command chair. But something was wrong. The usually imposing Bruggen officer looked confused. "Ah, Sergeant." Phoenix's voice continued, though she was no longer visible on screen. "How are you enjoying your new accommodations?" How are you enjoying your new accommodations?" Krultalk's rumbling voice carried clear frustration. "Human, show yourself. Stop playing games." The camera angle shifted, revealing that the Bruggen bridge crew was trapped behind what appeared to be an energy barrier. They were moving around freely, but couldn't reach their control panels. "Not trapped, Sergeant," Phoenix's voice explained. "Protected. You see, we needed to borrow your ship for a few hours, but we didn't want anyone to get hurt in the process." "Borrow?" Krultalk roared. "This is the finest assault vessel in the Bruggen fleet. You cannot simply borrow it." "Actually, we can. And we did. Your people build magnificent ships, Sergeant. Incredibly durable, amazingly powerful. But you know what they're not? Secure from the inside." The view shifted again, showing human operatives moving through the Bruggen ship's corridors. They moved with purpose, clearly knowing exactly where they were going. Several were carrying what looked like Bruggen tools and equipment. "Your species has a wonderful approach to engineering," Phoenix continued. "Everything built to last. Everything designed for maximum efficiency. Very logical. Very predictable, once we understood the patterns. Accessing your systems was simply a matter of following the logical pathways your designers intended." "Impossible," Krultalk protested. "Our security systems are biometrically locked to Bruggen biometrics, yes. But you know what's funny about biometric locks? They're designed to recognize specific biological markers. Change the markers, and the system thinks you belong there." One of the humans on screen held up their hand, showing what appeared to be a thin glove that perfectly mimicked Bruggen's skin texture and temperature. "Synthetic epidermis overlay with embedded thermal regulators. Took us about 6 hours to figure out how to fool your scanners." Vexara watched this exchange with growing dread. If the humans could neutralize both Kelari stealth technology and Bruggen heavy assault capabilities, what hope did any of them have? The screen split again, now showing a third feed from what appeared to be a Vorthan command vessel. The crystalline forms of the Vorthan crew were visible, but they weren't moving. They stood perfectly still, as if frozen in place. "And our Vorthan friends," Phoenix's voice continued with obvious admiration, "have the most fascinating nervous systems. Crystal-based neural networks, incredibly efficient information processing, perfect coordination between individual units." A human figure moved into view of the Vorthan camera, checking readings on a modified scanner. "Also, incredibly vulnerable to harmonic frequency disruption. Find the right resonance, and their entire neural network goes into temporary suspension. Don't worry, the effect is completely reversible. They'll wake up in a few hours with nothing worse than a headache." Captain Vexara felt her species' natural camouflage systems flickering rapidly as her stress reached critical levels. "What do you want from us?" Phoenix reappeared on the main screen, now wearing what looked like a combination of technology from all three alien species: Kelari stealth generators, Bruggen armor plating, and Vorthan crystal processing units, all seamlessly integrated into a single system. "We want you to understand something, Captain. We're not the primitives you think we are. We're not the easy targets your commanders believe we are." She leaned forward, her expression intense. "We're human beings, and we don't give up. Ever." "But this is impossible," Vexara protested. 30 individuals cannot overcome the entire Galactic Enforcement Division." Phoenix smiled again, and this time there was something predatory in the expression. "Captain, You're still thinking like a traditional military force. You're thinking about ships and weapons and technology. But that's not how humans fight wars. She gestured to the screens around her, showing feeds from dozens of different locations throughout the sector. Human teams were visible in each one, working on projects that defied easy categorization. We fight with ideas, Captain. We fight with adaptation. We fight with the understanding that every system has weaknesses, every technology has vulnerabilities, every strategy has counters. Phoenix stood up, her form seeming to grow more imposing. And we never, ever fight fair. The multiple screens flickered and changed, now showing star maps with highlighted positions throughout Council space. Dozens of locations were marked, each one representing what appeared to be a human operation. You've been hunting 30 humans for weeks, Phoenix continued. But what you didn't realize is that we've been recruiting. Every species you've marginalized, every world you've ignored, every group that's tired of council politics and alien bureaucracy. Vex Ara stared at the map in horror. You've been organizing a resistance movement. We've been offering an alternative, Phoenix corrected. Humans have this funny habit of making friends with anyone who wants to be free. We don't care what species you are, what you look like, or where you come from. All we care about is whether you're willing to stand up for what's right. The view shifted one final time, showing a massive space station hidden in the Outer Rim territories. It was clearly of mixed construction, incorporating design elements from dozens of different species. Ships of various origins docked and departed regularly, their crews working together despite their different biologies. So here's the message we want you to take back to your commanders, Phoenix said, her voice carrying absolute conviction. Stop hunting us. Stop treating humans as primitives to be contained or controlled. Join us, fight us, or leave us alone. But understand that we're not going away. The transmission cut out, leaving the bridge of the silent whisper in shocked silence. After several long moments, Vex Ara activated her communications array. This is Captain Vex Ara to GED Command. Priority Alpha transmission. Go ahead, Captain. Sir, I need to report that our mission parameters have changed significantly. There was a pause. Explain. Vex Ara looked at the tactical display showing the locations where human activity had been detected. Each one represented not just 30 rogue operatives, but potentially thousands of allies working toward goals that the Galactic Council was only beginning to understand. Sir, I don't think we're hunting humans anymore. I think they're hunting us. Commander Zex Thul stood in the emergency session chamber of the Galactic Enforcement Division, facing the assembled representatives of a dozen species. The holographic display behind him showed the tactical nightmare that their simple hunting mission had become. Red markers indicated confirmed human activity across 17 different star systems. Yellow markers showed suspected human influence in 43 more locations. Most disturbing of all, green markers indicated species that had openly declared support for what they were now calling the Human Liberation Initiative. In summary, Zex Thul clicked grimly. What began as a mission to capture 30 rogue operatives has evolved into a galaxy-wide crisis. Our latest intelligence suggests that humans are not operating as criminals or terrorists, but as the advanced scouts for something unprecedented in galactic history. Counselor Threndal of the Vorthan Collective shifted forward, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into prismatic patterns. Commander, surely you're not suggesting that a species that achieved space travel barely a century ago poses a genuine threat to civilizations that have existed for millennia. I'm suggesting, Counselor, that we may have fundamentally misunderstood what humans represent. Zex Thul gestured to the display, which now showed comparative analyses of human technological development versus standard galactic progression models. Every other species in the Council followed predictable patterns of advancement. Mathematics led to physics, physics led to engineering, engineering led to space travel. It took most species between 5,000 and 50,000 years to progress from basic agriculture to interstellar capability. The display shifted to show Earth's timeline. Humans accomplished this in approximately 12,000 years. But the truly remarkable aspect isn't the speed. It's the method. They didn't follow the established progression at all. Admiral Kektar of the Bruggen Defense Force rumbled his confusion. "What do you mean? They developed technologies in the wrong order," Zexthal explained. "They created vaccines before understanding cellular biology. They built computers before comprehending quantum mechanics. They achieved nuclear fusion through trial and error rather than mathematical modeling. They violated every principle of technological development we consider fundamental." A younger representative from the Zelny Federation raised a tentacled appendage. "Perhaps they simply got lucky?" Zexthal's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. "Counselor Velnash, our xenobiological analysis suggests something far more disturbing than luck. Humans appear to have evolved what we can only describe as intuitive problem-solving capabilities. They solve problems they don't understand, using methods they can't explain." The display now showed footage from various human encounters with alien technology. In each case, humans examined unfamiliar devices for brief periods before somehow understanding their function and operation. "More troubling still," Zexthal continued, "is their approach to cooperation. Every other sapient species develops social hierarchies based on competence, resource control, or genetic advantages. Humans organize themselves around shared beliefs and emotional connections that transcend logic." Counselor Threndal's crystalline features shifted to express skepticism. "Surely, emotional decision-making is a disadvantage in any advanced society." "That was our assumption," Zexthal agreed. "However, recent events suggest otherwise." The display changed to show the space station Phoenix had revealed during her transmission. The structure was massive, clearly constructed from components salvaged from dozens of different species' technologies. But more importantly, it was bustling with activity from representatives of species the Council had never seen working together. This station, which humans call Haven, has become a focal point for what appears to be the largest interspecies cooperation project in recorded galactic history. Species that have been enemies for centuries are working side by side. Civilizations that have never even met are sharing technology and resources freely. Admiral Kektar leaned forward, his massive stone-like features expressing concern. "How is this possible? The logistical challenges alone should make such cooperation impossible." "That brings us to the most significant development in our investigation," Zexthal announced grimly. 3 days ago, our deep space monitoring stations detected an unprecedented energy signature from the Haven station. Analysis suggests they have successfully constructed a functional quantum gateway network. The chamber fell into shocked silence. Quantum gateway technology was theoretical even for the most advanced Council species. The ability to create instant transportation between distant points in space would revolutionize galactic civilization. "That's impossible," Counselor Velnash protested. "The mathematical complexity alone would require computational resources beyond anything that exists in known space. Unless," Zexthal replied quietly, "you approach the problem from an entirely different perspective." The display showed technical schematics that had been intercepted from human communications. The gateway design was unlike anything Council scientists had ever seen. Instead of relying on massive computational arrays and perfectly calibrated quantum field generators, the human design used what appeared to be organic neural networks, integrated with crystalline matrices, and enhanced by techniques borrowed from a dozen different species. "They're not calculating the quantum field equations," Zexthal explained. "They're growing them." The system uses biological neural networks to intuitively understand quantum relationships in ways our mathematical models cannot replicate. "But how do they know it will work?" Counselor Threndal demanded. "They don't," Zexthal admitted. "But humans appear to be comfortable with uncertainty in ways that we find deeply disturbing. They implement solutions that might fail because the potential benefits outweigh the risks of trying." Before anyone could respond, the chamber's communication system activated. "Commander Zexthal, priority transmission from Captain Vexara, aboard the Silent Whisper." "Put it through," Zexthal commanded. Captain Vexara appeared in holographic form, her usually immaculate appearance disheveled, and her camouflage systems flickering erratically. "Commander, I'm transmitting from coordinates you need to see for yourself. The humans have. They've built something." The view shifted to show the external cameras of the Kalari stealth frigate. Before them stretched a sight that defied comprehension. Haven Station was no longer the improvised structure they had observed weeks earlier. It had grown into a massive complex of interconnected modules, docking bays, and construction facilities. Ships from species across the galaxy moved in organized patterns, their crews working together with an efficiency that would have impressed even Vorthan coordination specialists. "Captain," Zexthul managed. "What exactly are we looking at?" "The end of the old galaxy, Commander," Vexara replied, "and the beginning of something entirely new." As they watched, the massive quantum gateway at the station's heart began to activate. Energy patterns unlike anything in Council databases swirled through the gate's aperture, creating a stable portal to a distant star system. Through the gateway, they could see another station. This one clearly of different construction but following similar design principles. "How many gateways have they constructed?" Counselor Threndal asked in a voice barely above a whisper. Captain Vexara checked her instruments. "Our scans indicate at least 47 operational gateways across known space, with more under construction. Commander, they're not just connecting human worlds. They're connecting everyone who wants to be connected." The implications hit the Council representatives like a physical blow. Instant travel between star systems would make traditional concepts of territory and resource control meaningless. Species that had been isolated by distance could now interact freely. The entire political and economic structure of galactic civilization would be fundamentally altered. "Commander," came another voice through the communication system. "This is Sergeant Cruel talk, aboard the Stonebreaker. The humans have. They've released my crew." "Released?" Zexthul asked. "More than that, sir. They've offered us a choice. Join their network as equals, or return to Council space with improved technology and a message for our people." The display split to show multiple feeds from the various alien ships that had been intercepted by Ghost Team. In each case, the crews had been not only released but equipped with upgraded systems and detailed technical specifications for improvements to their vessels. "They're giving us their technology?" Admiral Kektar rumbled in disbelief. Phoenix's familiar voice cut through the communication channel, though her image didn't appear. "We're sharing it, Admiral. That's what allies do." "Human!" Zexthul clicked sharply. "Show yourself." "I'm right here, Commander." Phoenix materialized in the chamber itself, standing casually near the holographic display, as if she had been there all along. Her presence caused an immediate security alert, but she raised her hands peacefully. "How did you?" Counselor Velnash began. "Quantum gateway technology," Phoenix explained simply. "We've been monitoring this meeting through your own communication systems. Don't worry, we haven't accessed any classified information. We're only interested in honest communication." Guards rushed toward her position, but Phoenix made no attempt to resist or flee. She simply stood calmly as security protocols activated around her. "I came here to make an offer," she announced. "Not to the Galactic Enforcement Division, and not to the Council leadership. To you, personally, as individuals who care about the future of galactic civilization." "What offer?" Zexthul demanded. Though he signaled the guards to hold their positions, Phoenix gestured to the display, which now showed real-time feeds from dozens of worlds across the galaxy. On each world, humans were working alongside local populations, sharing technology and knowledge freely. "We're offering an alternative to the system you've built," she said. "The Council maintains order through control, hierarchy, and the careful management of technology and resources. It works, after a fashion, but it also stagnates. It prevents growth. It keeps species isolated and competitive instead of allowing them to reach their full potential together." Counselor Threndal's crystalline form shifted to express confusion. "And your alternative is anarchy? Unrestricted technology sharing? The collapse of established order?" Phoenix smiled. "Our alternative is freedom, Counselor. The freedom to choose your own path, to cooperate with whoever you want, to explore possibilities that regulated science considers too dangerous or impractical." "But surely such freedom would lead to chaos," Counselor Velnash protested. "Without oversight, Without regulation, conflicts would be inevitable. Would they? Phoenix challenged. Look at your evidence, counselor. In the past 3 months, we've helped facilitate first contact between 17 species that had never met. We've mediated 3 territorial disputes using shared resource solutions. We've provided disaster relief to 4 worlds using rapid response capabilities your bureaucratic procedures could never match. She gestured again, and the display showed detailed reports of each incident. In every case, human intervention had resulted in peaceful resolutions and improved conditions for all parties involved. You see conflict where we see opportunity, Phoenix continued. You see danger where we see potential. You see problems that require control. And we see challenges that require cooperation. Admiral Kektar stood to his full imposing height. And if we refuse your offer? If we continue to see you as a threat to galactic stability? Phoenix's expression remained calm, but something in her eyes suggested that this question had been anticipated. Then you'll discover why 30 humans have been able to outmaneuver the finest military force in the galaxy for 3 months. The chamber's lighting suddenly shifted to emergency mode. Alarms began sounding throughout the facility as security systems reported multiple breaches across all levels. You see, Admiral, Phoenix continued conversationally as chaos erupted around them. We didn't come here to threaten you. We came here to demonstrate something important. More humans materialized throughout the chamber, each one appearing through what could only be described as localized quantum gates. They moved with practiced efficiency, securing positions and establishing defensive perimeters with the fluid coordination of a unit that had trained together for years. The age of controlling galactic civilization through superior firepower and restricted technology is over, Phoenix announced. Not because we're taking control, but because we're making control impossible. Zex Thul watched in fascination as his security forces found themselves facing opponents who seemed to anticipate their every move. The humans weren't fighting his people, they were simply staying one step ahead of them, neutralizing weapon systems and disabling tactical coordination with techniques that bordered on precognitive. How? He managed to ask. We've spent 3 months studying every aspect of your military doctrine. Your technology. Your psychology, Phoenix explained. We know how you think, how you react, how you solve problems. But more importantly, we've learned to think differently than you do. She gestured to one of her team members, who was somehow simultaneously maintaining defensive positions against multiple alien security units, while appearing to assist them in understanding their own equipment limitations. Humans don't just adapt to challenges, Commander. We adapt so completely that we become challenges other species can't adapt to in return. The security situation stabilized as both sides seemed to reach an unspoken understanding that further conflict would be pointless. The humans could clearly maintain their positions indefinitely, while the aliens couldn't dislodge them without risking significant damage to their own facility. So what happens now? Counselor Threndal asked. Phoenix looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of each representative in turn. Now you choose. You can continue trying to hunt us, continue trying to control galactic development, continue maintaining the status quo that keeps species isolated and competitive, or you can join us in building something better. She activated a small device on her wrist, and the chamber's main display showed a galaxy-wide network of communication links, trade routes, and cooperation agreements that spanned hundreds of worlds. This is what we've built in 3 months, working with whoever was willing to try something new. Imagine what we could accomplish in 3 years if we worked together instead of against each other. Zex Thul stared at the display, trying to process the implications of what he was seeing. The network Phoenix had shown them represented a complete transformation of galactic civilization, not through conquest or control, but through voluntary cooperation and mutual aid. And if we choose to maintain the existing order? He asked. Phoenix's smile was neither threatening nor dismissive, simply matter of fact. Then you'll find that the existing order is maintained by fewer and fewer species every day. We're not forcing anyone to join us, Commander. We're just offering a better alternative. She gestured to her team, and they began to fade from view as their quantum gates activated. The offer stands indefinitely. When you're ready to try something new, we'll be here. As the last human disappeared, the chamber fell into stunned silence. Finally, Admiral Kektar spoke what everyone was thinking. "I don't think we're hunting them anymore," he rumbled quietly. "I think they're recruiting us." Outside the windows of the GED headquarters, the first ships began appearing. Vessels from dozens of species, all bearing the distinctive modification patterns that indicated human technological assistance. The galaxy was changing whether the Council approved or not. The mission to hunt 30 human Special Forces operatives was over. The question now was whether the Galactic Enforcement Division would join the future that was already beginning, or watch it happen without them.